dreams allow you to set goals, so
Right.
you have something to shoot for.
Right.
But more importantly, I would tell that young man, enjoy each day like it was your last. Enjoy life, but still try to do the very best that you can.
This is a journey.
Let me take you on a journey.
There will still be the journey.
The journey.
New sheriff in town, and his name is
The journey.
Journey.
This thing is bigger than Nino Brown. This is the journey.
The journey.
What is it that moved you?
The journey. The journey. The journey. The journey.
The Journey Memphis is being generously supported by Nike's Black Community Commitment and Methodist Labanner Healthcare. Welcome back to another episode of The Journey. I'm your host, Larry Robinson, and once again, we have a Memphis icon that's gonna blow your socks off. But first, before we get to him, you know we have our quote of the day. And our quote comes from the great Jack Roosevelt Robinson. For many of you guys, you don't know, but that's Jackie Robinson, MLB baseball great, as well as civil rights activist. So listen, his quote goes a little something like this. A life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives. What does that mean? Your life's really not important until we can gauge how much you've helped others. It's all about service. Service is the rent you pay for your time here on earth. That's from my homeboy Ali. But today we have a great one. His name is Dr. Derrick Payne. Memphis born and bred, former athlete. He's definitely a scholar. Dentist, entrepreneur, philanthropist. He's also a girl dad, everybody, and he's a husband. So without further ado, Dr. Derrick Payne. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing pretty good.
Man,
How you doing,
thank
man?
you. I'm good.
No,
I am so glad you're here, man.
Same. Glad to be here. Glad
It's an
to be
honor
here.
for us to have you.
Yes,
It's
sir.
an honor for us to have you.
Appreciate the honor.
So we're going to start out.
Okay.
Tell me about the community that you grew up. Tell me about that house that you grew up in. Early Derrick Payne.
Okay. Well, man, I'm glad you asked that, and I'm proud to say I grew up in a couple of communities around the city.
Okay.
You know, I kind of went back and did my research, saw some of the interviews that you did, and a lot of people was kind of focused on one. But I grew up in Orange Mound. I was born in Orange Mound.
Okay.
My family was born in Orange Mound. Born on Spotswood Street.
Okay.
Near Brentwood Park. That's where Melrose is. Of course, you know about Orange Mound.
Right.
And that was my earlier years. But then when I transitioned, probably around 7th or 8th grade, we moved to South Memphis.
Okay.
And I stayed off of South Parkway on Barksdale. So
Okay.
I'm a little different. I got a little Orange Mound blood in me.
Okay.
And I got South Memphis blood in me. And I make sure I wear each one of them the most. But of course, everybody, in my high school years, I was more in South Memphis. So,
Right.
But I got a mixture of both of them, man.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
So tell me, who outside of your immediate family, inside the household, who outside of the household had the biggest impact on young Derrick Payne?
I would say my football coach.
Oh, yeah?
Roosevelt Hancock at Hamilton
Okay.
High School, man. He was my coach from 10th grade to 12th grade.
Okay.
And not only did he impact me, from a football standpoint, because he was a great coach,
Right.
great program, and he impacted me on the football side, but he also impacted me on the academic side.
Okay.
Because when I got into my career, he the one that gave me the opportunity to be able to go to some summer programs during the summertime, which I should have been practicing.
Right.
But I had an opportunity to go to some summer programs at UT, during school, sometimes or even during football practice, and he allowed me to take away from a football part to be able to go do that, and that's how I was able to kind of get into my career. So he both impacted my athletic side as well as my academic side.
So you were always into the healthcare mindset?
I'm not gonna say always. I just, at that time, they kind of chose different students from different high schools.
Right.
Brought them over to UT, that's the Health Science Center.
Right.
I was 14, 15, 16-year-old. During the summertime, we took programs that, people who were interested into medical careers. So that's pretty much how I got into that, and that's how I actually end up going into the career that I'm in now, by going to that program.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
sir. Yes,
How
sir.
different are you from the person you dreamed you would be as young Derrick?
Man, believe it or not, I'm really not that different.
Yeah?
As a young person, man, I was always person that was always involved with everything,
Okay.
involved in, the Pledge of Allegiance at my school. I led, as a young person, I led that, played the violin, the xylophone, just instrument,
really?
Christmas programs and all. So
Yeah.
I was very, very active even at a young age, and I guess at the age that I'm now, I'm very, very active with the things that I do now. But it started out, as a young person, just being involved with everything in school, wanting to do a lot of things in school, and it has kind of carried over into my adulthood at the same time.
What decision did you make that you can recall that you made that had a lifelong impact on you, even though you didn't know it was at the time?
I would say I'm gonna go back to that program again, just for me to be able to go into that program. And what it did, it allowed me to hear a dentist by the name of Dr. Wisdom Coleman.
Oh, wow.
Just going to that program, just hearing him talk about dentistry.
Do you remember the name of the program?
I remember the program. It was called HCOP.
I did HCOP. That's what I was wondering, if it was HCOP. Health Careers and Opportunity Program.
It was called HCOP.
Yeah.
And it was, like I said, students from all over the city. So
Right.
we had a chance to come in, and Dr. Wisdom Coleman, he just talked about what he did on a daily life, his daily life consisted of. And of course, me having football background, my thing was to go to the NFL just like everyone. But just hearing him talk about dentistry, I said, man, if this NFL thing don't work out, that's something that I would want to do.
Wow.
So I'm glad that my coach enabled me to be able to go. I'm glad the opportunity came and I was able to go through my counselors and all. Because just hearing him talk about dentistry is what put it on my mind, and the rest was pretty much history from there.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
When did you know you were going to be okay? When did you know that life, I can do this thing?
Oh man, that's a powerful question there. And tell the truth, I'm the type, I'm motivated by not knowing that I'm gonna be okay. Because that kind of puts it on my mind that I gotta work hard to do it. But I would probably say that I knew I was gonna be okay when I maybe got to college. When it was time for me, didn't have my mom telling me to get up for school or to go to church or to make it to practice on time. I would say when I kind of got a little older, got into college, started playing football, where I had more responsibility, when it was on me. My grandma wasn't waking me up every morning. It was on D. Payne or the people that was around us, my teammates, telling each other to get up and do what we needed to do. So I think, and even though, of course, that was a challenge, and we'll talk about that. It was a challenge even through that, but I think once we kind of learned how we can adapt into that system, I figured I would be okay after that.
What's your why, Derrick?
Oh man, and that's another question. I kind of heard a few of your interviews, and I think I got several whys.
Okay,
I got a why for God, first of all. I got a why for my wife and kids. I got a why for my family. My mom and grandmom are deceased. I had a why for them. I got a why for this community. So I have multiple whys, not just one why. I feel the type of person that I am, the type of personality I am. My why is to go in and just try to make someone feel better, to encourage, to motivate. I'm great on being motivated and encouraging, because I know how society is, how society can kind of tear us down on a daily basis, So my goal is, and my why is just to try to uplift someone daily, to encourage them, to motivate them, whether it's my family, my friends, even a stranger, just a smile, even in my profession, what I do. Making someone a beautiful smile. That's what my why is, just to make them better on a daily basis, man, and just encourage them. But I also don't just do it for them. I encourage them. I'm trying to put my why on you so you can put your why on someone else, and we can make this a chain reaction type thing. So I think that's pretty much what it is.
Now, you went from Hamilton all the way to Vanderbilt. So I'm going to ask this. Most brothers really a challenge, but they figure it out quickly.
Gotcha.
When did you realize you was a black man?
That's another great question.
Hold on real quick.
Okay,
Listen, we're going to come back on the journey where Brother Derrick is going to share with us when he realized he wasn't only a Dr. Payne, but he was a brother. So stay right there. We'll be right back on the journey on the Kazukia Network.
This is a journey.
Let me take you on a journey.
Success in life is not a straight line. There are twists and turns in everyone's life, and the more you know about their story, the more you'll understand the process. Kazukia Media Group proudly presents The Journey, a show that features successful black men in Memphis telling their stories of their lives and the ups and downs they've encountered on their ultimate road to success. We believe The Journey will encourage young men and help them see that life is a journey. Watch The Journey, hosted by me, Larry Robinson. Brought to you by the Kazukia Media Group in partnership with the Delta Boulay. Welcome back to The Journey. Told you, this Memphis icon was unique, different, fresh, and had a lot to share. Dr. Derrick Payne, dentist here in Memphis. So, Dr. Payne.
Yes, sir.
Before we left, we asked, when did you realize you were a black man?
I first realized that I was a black man. Of course, I knew I was a black or African American, but I first realized that I was a black man when I got on the campus of Vanderbilt University.
Really?
Me coming out of South Memphis, Hamilton High School, great majority, pretty much 99% black. We may have had one or two white students at that time.
Right.
But going from Memphis and Hamilton and being into an atmosphere like Vanderbilt where it was 99% white, that's when I first kind of realized that I was a black man. First of all, I was proud to be there.
Really?
Because I know that school probably wasn't built for us.
Right.
So for me to be able to have an opportunity to get a full football scholarship, to be able to go there,
right,
was a great opportunity. But I first realized I was white when I kind of went to some of the fraternity parties.
Oh, really?
When I got there, I'm 18 years old.
Right.
Of course, in Memphis, we knew the legal age to drink probably was 21.
Right.
That was still in our mind.
Right.
When I got to Vanderbilt, I'm going to these parties. I'm seeing all these 18-year-olds drinking beer, and man, I had to call my mom. I said, "Mom, I didn't know," and I just said it like that. I just didn't know that they drank so much beer, but also, I didn't even know it was legal to be able to drink at that time.
Wow.
So just being in that atmosphere, I said, it must be some different rules somewhere.
Right.
So for me, that's when I kind of realized it's some black rules and there's some white rules,
Okay.
And our job was, and I talk about the guys who I played football with, they brought us in at Vanderbilt. It was about 12 of us. We almost were like a pilot.
Right.
A pilot, we all recruited,
right,
got football scholarship, and they brought us in. And we know now they kind of brought us in just to see if we could make it out of that environment.
Really?
That many blacks in one recruiting class had never been brought in.
Okay.
But it was we came together, we motivated each other, and we were able to graduate and all that. So I would say, man, when I touched down on Vanderbilt's campus, that's when I realized that I was a black man. Me not having a car,
right,
none of us had cars.
Right.
To me, seeing some of my other students, some of the white students driving Mercedes and BMWs, and we even went to school with Ross Perot's daughter. So we know we went to school with millionaires. So with me coming out from South Memphis to being able to see that, man, that's when I realized that I was a black man. There was some different rules, but it was just all about us learning how to play the game and to do what we needed to do to get
Was
out.
there a specific instance at Vanderbilt where you being black was an issue or anything that really stands out that makes you go, man, that was a crazy experience? Right.
I'm not really gonna say it was any kind of issues. Now, of course, there were some things that kind of happened along there.
Right.
But I'm not gonna say it was a specific issue, and it could have been because I was an athlete.
Right.
They probably had a little more respect for me because I had an athlete, and also I had white teammates. We were real close. So I'm not gonna say it was anything that was just challenging on that standpoint directly, but I'm pretty sure it was some indirect things, that happened also that we probably didn't know about.
Okay.
So that was pretty much it on there.
Let's rewind. Let's go all the way back. Let's go back to Orange Mound.
Gotcha.
Who was in that household?
Well, I was raised by my grandma. Now I'm gonna go back all the way. My mom had me when she was 16.
Okay.
So my mom was a child when she had me.
Right.
So therefore she was a child. So we stayed home with my grandma. My dad was 17. My mom was 16. So I got an 18-year-old. So I can imagine, what would be with that. So she had me at 16 years old. So my grandma pretty much raised us. I'm not just gonna say me. Of course, my mom was a child, so she helped raise me as well as my mom, and of course, my mom raised me too. And my dad, throughout the years, my mom and dad were never married, but he definitely had an impact. I stayed with him on the weekends and things like that. But mainly, my grandma and my mom were the ones who raised me because I stayed in the home with them.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about a fond memory of being back in Orange Mound. Something that stick in the back of your mind that you're like, man, that was some good time.
Well, man, growing up in the hood, as we call it, me as a young person, man, I was just loving life. I was just happy to get up, to be able to go to the park, Brentwood Park. And I'm also the type, I love school, man. Even at a young age, I didn't want to miss school. I guess because I was having so much fun, seeing people. Then to be able to learn and all that, I really didn't want to miss school. But, just things, during the summertime when you had swimming pools to go to, Orange Mound swimming pool, you had parks to go to, and they brought trucks around that fed us. So those are some of the strong memories that stand out, man. That it was a tight-knit community, and then just being able to do those fun things as a kid pretty much what stands out in my behalf.
All right, well, if I ask you about a fond memory, I got to ask about a negative one when either you were scrapping or you got that whooping or something. Tell me one of them stories, Derrick.
Okay. And man, this is one of the stories that I kind of held on to. Some things you just don't tell.
Right.
But since I'm on the journey, and this part of my journey, we may as well bring it up now. We were living in Skylane Apartments. Okay. Right over there off Kitchener Airways. Okay. And of course, definitely not gonna say I was stealing anything. I think there was just some fun memories that kids were having. Right. And I'm probably one of the only kids that this has ever happened to. Okay. But we had a drink machine in the car wash. You stayed in the apartments, you had swimming pool, then you had washer and dry, and there was a drink machine in there. Right. So a few of my friends, we found out a way how we can kind of get a drink out of the drink machine. Yeah. So me being one of my guys, they got that, you could put it in, hit the button, and the drink would just fall out. So it's my turn, I come in, I put my hand in the machine, and I feel these things kind of squeeze on my hand. Okay. So man, I'm probably one of the only young people who have ever got their hand stuck in a Coke machine. I'm on my knee, hand down, and it couldn't come out. So man, they had to call. My mom was at work. She was a waitress, all that. She was at work, so they had to call the fire department to come out. I vividly remember like I was either 6 or 7 years old, and man, I could see that truck pull up. And of course, first when you pull up at that time, they had axes that was hanging off the truck. Right. And I'm saying, man, I hope they're not going to chop this hand off, But he called the fire department in. I'm still on my knee, hand stuck down, man. I remember the guy, he told me to squeeze my hand, and eventually my hand came on out of it. As soon as my hand came out of it, the Sprite fell out of the thing.
Wow. Did you take the Sprite?
They gave me the Sprite. So, man, that's one of the craziest memories that I hadn't even told my kids that I got my hand.
Did the butt get warmed up?
Man, the butt got warmed up. My mom, they had to call my mom from home. And my mom wasn't the type to whoop me. She knew I was going to kind of get into things like that. But more importantly, I remember seeing her cry about that. So that was pretty touching too. And I think what she was trying to teach me is that, I'm not here to, I have to go work. So you're going to have some responsibilities on your own. So she almost was a little disappointed that I did it more than anything. So that's just one of those crazy memories I remember, man. But I definitely got plenty of butt whipping now. But I think she was more disappointed and sad that I did it. And also she probably knew it could have been worse than what it was. So there probably was some tears of joy at the same time.
Right. So what was your relationship with your pops like?
I had a great relationship with my pops. Like I said, my pops, he was 17 and I was, when I was born, he was 17. Okay. Him and my mom, we never stayed in the same household. So it was more one of those relationships to where he picked me up on the weekends and we went to his home. And then he remarried and we had a great relationship. And then he passed away at a young age, even when I was in dental school. He passed away at the age of 47. Oh, man. But even at that time, we still had a great relationship. And not only that, I had a great relationship with him as well as my aunts and uncles and cousins on my dad's side. Just a great relationship. And even prior to him passing, man, we had a great relationship and, it was a great one. Yep.
You have girls.
I do. Yes, sir.
One of your girls, you said, is 18?
Yes, she is. Yep.
What was that like the day she turned 16, knowing that your mom had you at 16 years old?
Man, that's a great question. Because, your grandma is some of your role models. Right. So, and of course my daughters, they know that my mom had me at 16. Right. So the challenge is you want grandma to be a role model, but you also want to tell them that you don't want to have a baby at 16. Right. But then when you look at it, I'm sure from their mindset, they'll say, well, Dad, she had you at 16 and you turned out okay.
All right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you kind of have that challenge. So my thing was to let them know. Of course, your mom can be your grandma can be your role model, but I'm pretty sure if your grandma could tell you, she probably would tell you that she would wait a little longer because it may have delayed some of her educational goals, anything like that. So, seeing that my mom had me at 16, that's some of the things that I would tell them to hold off. Don't try to be grown too early. And even at 14 and 18, I'm telling them those same things.
Now, back in the day, you look like a pretty handsome brother. So I know I'm sure you had plenty of young ladies. How has having young ladies affected you as an adult?
Yes, that's another tough one there. That's another tough one because I know what I did, and we all, I know what my friends did. I also know what the young ladies did.
Right.
So my challenge is to try to tell them don't do what we did,
right.
But of course, we know that they're kids and they're going to explore and do things at the same time. So, like I said, I know what I did, and and good thing about it, I was respectful to my young lady. The girls that I talked to, and I didn't have a whole lot of girlfriends. I was a good guy.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. Of course, I did some bad things at the same time, which we all do those. But I was a good guy, and I think that kind of helped me. Good, respectable guy, and that's the same thing that I try to tell my kids. Try to choose some good guys. Right. Try to choose some guys that's going to be respectful to you, going to be respectful. Even with me, what kind of got me when I had girlfriends, I was respectful to their parents.
Right.
Yes, sir, no, sir. Even if they had brothers and sisters, I tried to take them on, and just to show some respect for type things.
You was a really cool brother.
That's the kind that you should try to go for.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
How was your transition into adulthood, man? You left Vanderbilt, went to dental school.
Yes, sir.
But what happened? What was that transition like? Leaving protective environment of Vanderbilt to now being out in the world and having decided to go to grad school and all those kind of things.
Well, I think one positive thing that was impactful in my career is that I kind of did it. In other words, I didn't really go to dental school until I was 26.
Oh.
I went at 26. I went to Vanderbilt.
Right.
Stayed there 5 years because I was on football scholarship. I tore my knee my second season, so I gained another one. So when I got ready to come from Vandy, I set out 1 year. So I was either 23 or may have been 23 or 24 when I went in. So I was a little older,
right.
Versus people in my class were in 20, 21 years old. So I was a little older. I had a little more, adulthood in me. So that pretty much was the transition. So it really wasn't a bad transition because I was a little older and I had a little more responsibility on my end, that I could know that I can kind of take on at that time.
When did you meet the missus? When did you meet that fine sister that you said, there she is?
Man, I actually met her in high school.
Oh, wow.
I was at Hamilton and she was at Melrose. She went to Melrose.
Okay.
And she graduated a year behind me. So I knew her all the way when I was 16, 17.
Okay.
But we didn't get married until I came out of dental school, and we didn't get married until I was 35 years old. But I knew her all the way back in high school.
When you looked at her at one time, that you said, there she is.
No doubt. I can remember she was sitting at one of my friends' table, and at that time she was a real skinny girl. Olive oil type.
Okay.
But a pretty face.
You done said olive oil. You done went back to Popeye.
Popeye, olive oil type. Real pretty, and so never knowing that one day that she was going to be my wife, but we knew each other a long time ago when we were in high school.
When did it change? When did the relationship change?
It changed when I got out of dental school. I was kind of already practicing,
and
we just kind of met back up again. We started dating. Really, we never went together until we started dating, even when I was at dental school.
Okay, so you knew her.
There you go, knew her, but we wasn't sweetheart, high school sweethearts, and none of that. We kind of met each other in our early 30s rather.
Okay,
and then we got married when I was 35 back in 2005.
Oh, wow.
And that's my heart.
Okay.
Yep. Yes, sir. No doubt.
What role has Memphis played in your development?
Oh, man, very, very important role. This is my home.
Right.
I had the chance to when I was going to dental school, I had the chance to either go to Meharry or UT.
Right.
But I wanted to come back home because I knew so many people.
Right.
And I knew so many people here, and I knew that I had a chance to have an impact upon a lot of people.
Right.
And I'm the type, and we may go into this, I'm the type, I was raised by the community. So many people, man, poured into me, poured into my lifestyle. They saw what I was doing at a young age, even to an adult age. So I figured that I had the responsibility to come back to Memphis and to pour in the same way people poured into me. That's what my goal was, to come back here and pour in my community. So Memphis has been, man, a great city. I mean, I love Memphis. I mean, the things that I do.
Right.
As far as bringing people together.
Right.
A lot of my friends who are from different cities, they love me comparing to their cities. They love Memphis because of the beautiful people here.
Right.
Because of the soulfulness that we have, because of the oneness that we have. Even when I was in in college, we were called One Town. And you may not remember this, but at that time, the tags had one in front of you from Memphis.
Oh.
So it started with one. So that's where that word One Town came from.
Okay.
And I think Nashville may have had two in
Okay.
their tags. So that's how the tags was. So Memphis was kind of known as One Town. So when I got to Vanderbilt, hanging out with TSU people, they knew we were from One Town. So, it was very, very impactful upon me.
So they say that you can tell a person because they're the average of the 5 friends they hang with.
No doubt.
What are the 5 friends that you hang with over the years? Just give us 5 of your partners that really meant a lot to you.
Okay. Well, one of them was my best friend named Alex Turner.
Okay.
We graduated from Hamilton together.
Okay.
And we made a pact. We came in, we made a pact wherever college we go to, we were going to go together. Of course,
wow.
I played football. Alex didn't play football.
Okay.
So it kind of narrowed down to me during my football recruiting. I narrowed it down to Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech. So Alex got into Vanderbilt.
Okay.
And at that time, I was being recruited by Vanderbilt. So that's how I ended up going to Vanderbilt. We had a pact that we were going to come together, we were going to stay together and go to school together. So we both ended up at Vanderbilt. So Alex Turner was one of my best friends.
Okay.
Then we go on into college. I got Corey Harris, and I was blessed not just to have 5, man. I was blessed to have 12 guys that we all came in. We're best of friends, motivated each other. Everybody's doing great. So I would say Alex Turner, Corey Harris, Derrick Gregg. He's the athletic director at Northwestern.
Wow.
Clarence Civilian. I was telling you about Marcus Wilson. Clarence is a CEO at a hospital. Marcus Wilson, Anthony Carter, Carlos Thomas. He's originally from Memphis.
Right.
Went to Craigmont High School. He's a chef and he has 2 doctorate degrees. So man, we all just motivated each other. We motivated each other.
Those 5 that he went on beyond 5, but once again, you gotta know it's the folks that you hang with.
There you go.
They help push you to being success. And as you can see, Dr. Payne has been pushed to be a success.
Yes, sir. No doubt.
So Dr. Payne,
no doubt.
we coming to the end.
Yes, sir.
But I want, you walk in to the door. You walk in the door of that house back in Orange Mound. And young Derrick is sitting there eating a bowl of cereal, watching cartoons.
There you go.
What would you say to that kid?
First of all, I would let him know that, man, this world has a lot to offer. And sometimes we as adults, and we can make life simple. But, I'm the type, I try to condense down to where it can be simple. I would tell that young kid, it's good to dream. We all have dreams. And it's good to, just listening to some of your former episodes, I hear people, they were dreaming that they were going to become a police officer, but they didn't become a police officer. I was dreaming I was going to go to the NFL, but I didn't go to the NFL. Some people may dream to become a fireman, but they don't become a fireman. So it's okay to dream, and I say definitely dreams allow you to set goals so you have something to shoot for. Right. But more importantly, I would tell that young man, enjoy each day like it was your last. Enjoy life. But still try to do the very best that you can. And that's what I did, man. I didn't know I wanted to become a dentist, but I knew I wanted to become something. Right. So I was just waking up every day, enjoying life, going to school, trying to make my parents proud, trying to make the best grades that I could, trying to score as many touchdowns as I could, trying to do, man, just enjoying life on a daily basis. So I would tell that young person, man, enjoy life, but also have some goals, because I'm a firm believer, and I'm going to go to my spiritual side. I'm a firm believer that all of our steps are already ordered.
Right.
So if your steps are already ordered, the simple thing is just to try to just wake up every day and try to find the steps that God is leading you to. You know, steps are already ordered. It was already ordained that I was going to become a dentist. It was already ordained I was going to go to Vanderbilt. My steps was already ordered I was going to even be here at this point. So therefore, don't, just get up and just try to live life, man, and do the very best that you can. Okay. Don't let your zip code define you. That's one of my partner, Dr. Rod Richmond. That's one of the quotes he said. Don't let your zip code define you. I was born in 38114, lived in 38114, but that doesn't mean that I still can't go on to go to a prestigious college like a Vanderbilt. And because don't let your zip code define you, man. Something that you can do. Try to help as many people as you can. Focus on, honoring God and doing what God, and man, he gonna take care of the rest. It's in the good book saying if you put him first, he gonna take care of the rest. So therefore, man, just wake up and do the very best that you can. And if your steps are already ordered, just stay along that track. You're gonna have some ups and downs. And I had plenty of ups and downs. I messed up on my boards a few times, my donor boards. Could have easily given up. Tore my ACL when I was playing against Mississippi State, first game of the season. Could have given up. So you're going to always have ups and downs, man. Just living in South Memphis, the daily things that we have to go through. But, you got to find something that's going to motivate you, man. My family was a motivation to me. Seeing one of my cousins, Willie Armstrong, go to college as a 10-year-old. My mom put me on a Greyhound bus. Of course, we didn't have phones. She just put me on the bus. So I had a chance to go spend a summer with him, and just to be able to, as a 10-year-old, man, just to see what college was about. That put it on my mind. So those type of things, man, just taking advantage of every opportunity and just living life. Find something that motivates you, whether it's your family, whether it's your uncles, whether it's Dr. Coleman, who had an impact on me becoming a dentist. So, I would just say, man, just live life and try to best to find someone to motivate you, because you never know what God has planned for you.
All right, last question.
Yes, sir.
And I want you to say talk right in that camera.
Definitely.
There's young people watching you, listening to this interview. What would you leave them with, Dr. Payne? A Painism that they can take with them from hearing you at this moment? Okay, definitely. Your turn. And really, the only thing that I can give you is what my life and how it worked for me. First of all, I would say, like I said, I grew up in the hood. I grew up in Orange Mound in South Memphis. I went to 4 or 5 different schools. That's how I know so many people. I would say first and foremost, man, put God first. I can't tell you what God to put first. I'm not here to tell you if you should be a Muslim, if you should be a Jew, if you be a Christian, but find who your God is, because first of all, when you find who your God is, as I stated earlier, your steps are already ordered. So you can look at me, man. I'm a person who was born into poverty, even though I never knew I was in poverty, because even if I walked in and saw there was a hot dog in the refrigerator, I was happy. So we're not gonna accept the fact that we were born into poverty. You can look at me and say that you can make it, man. You just gotta want to make it. You gotta find something to motivate you, and what motivation does, it just encourages you to want to do best. And one thing that I've always found out, even with my academics, of course, I took care of my academics, made good grades, but man, my attitude, having a positive attitude has carried me a long way. So I would say, not saying you're going to have a great attitude every day, but try your best, man, to have a great attitude, to try to work hard, to listen and be respectful to your teachers, to your parents, and also realizing that you're not here. God created you to have an impact upon someone else. So it's very important for you to have an impact upon someone else. So that's what I would say. Put God first. Know that your steps are ordered. Work hard. Don't let no things that deter you from wanting to be the very best that you can. And man, I'm a living example that once you do that, you can be the very, 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 very best person that you can. Life is not important except in the impact it has on others. That came from Jackie Robinson, like that. Baseball great, civil rights icon. But also, you got a lot of service. You got service to provide. Definitely. And as you can see, Brother Derrick Payne has provided a tremendous amount of service. Appreciate it. Dr. Payne, thank you. Man, thank you for your time. So much, brother. I appreciate you. I want to come back too. Oh yeah, absolutely. We got you. We got you. I love it. We got you. Love it. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So listen, this has been The Journey on the Kazukian Network. I'm Larry Robinson, and for our guest today, Dr. Derrick Payne. Be wonderful, be great, and be great at it. Talk to you soon. Thank you to our partners at Nike's Black Community Commitment and Methodist Labanner Healthcare. To hear more incredible stories like this, be sure to download the Kazukian app from the App Store or Google Play, or check out the Journey Memphis podcast on all your major podcast providers. Also, check us out on the Kazukian Network.